is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
Today, the Tigers wrap up a 6-game road trip with day baseball here in Cleveland. Welcome to Progressive Field Game 3, featuring the Detroit Tigers and the Cleveland Indians. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers baseball. Mario and Pemba alongside Rod Allen. Glad to have you with us for the series finale here. The Indians have won the first 2 games in the series. They've won 20 consecutive ball games. Rod, go for 21 today. It's just simply been amazing for them.
Well, if you're a baseball fan, you have to really appreciate what this Cleveland Indians team has been able to do. And what's been most impressive for me, not so much the numbers, but what's coming out of their clubhouse. They're led by Tito Francona, and every last one of their players, Mario, at the end of the day, when they start talking about this streak, it's not me, I, it's all about team. And I think that comes from their manager, Terry Francona. It's been awfully fun to watch the last couple of days.
All right, not too many positives for the Tigers these days, but they have Nick Castellanos back in the lineup today. He's got himself a long hitting streak. He had 2 hits against Corey Kluber yesterday. I think that's a pretty good pitcher.
Absolutely. I just loved his approach in last night's game, and really I've loved his approach this entire road trip through Toronto, now here in Cleveland. 9-game hitting streak right now for Nicholas Castellanos. He's moved to right field. He's playing well out there, but it's that bat that continues to come for Castellanos, and I just love the energy that he's playing right now, and he's become a leader on this team. By and large, still very young, but a leader of a lot of the other younger kids on this current roster.
All right, now the Tigers should have plenty of openings in their rotation next year. Of course, Matt Boyd took a step forward with a good outing last night. Buck Farmer goes today. And with more on the Tigers right-hander, we bring in Johnny Kane.
Well, Mario, if they can hold all those auditions on the road, that would be beneficial for Buck Farmer. 3 starts, 3 wins, and a 2.12 ERA. It's at home where he's labored a little bit in 4 starts with just 1 win and an ERA north of 11. He joked with us earlier, even his dad had said, you know what, Buck, maybe you shouldn't pitch at home. But as it is, he's pitching on the road. He's hoping those road numbers will continue. And remember, he's the only pitcher in the Tigers starting rotation that has a win on this 6-game road trip right now. Looked good in Toronto, filled up the zone, threw a lot of strikes, and threw 1-run baseball over 5 innings. Let's hope Buck Farmer can continue to keep that going today and end that Cleveland Indians streak at 20 games. Mario?
All right, Johnny, thanks. We'll check back in with you throughout the course of the afternoon here. Game 3 in the series coming up. After a short break, we'll bring you to the Call Sam Studios, and we'll check in with Matt Shepard. Coming up in this one here this afternoon, Nick Castellanos, a 9-game hitting streak, going for 10 in a row. The Tigers take on the Tribe. Game 3 from Cleveland is coming up next. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. And by Jeep. Hurry in for great deals during the Jeep Celebration event that only happens once a year. Cleveland, as we get you ready for the Tigers and the Indians' final game in this series. The starting lineup for the Tigers is as follows. It is presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. It'll be Kinsler, Presley, and Cabrera in the top 3 spots. Nick Castellanos batting cleanup and playing in right field. Candelario at third. McCann will catch. You got Romine, Iglesias, make it Jones, and then Iglesias. Iggy back from paternity leave, and they are facing Mike Clevenger, presented today by MGM Grand Detroit.
And it doesn't get any easier for the Tigers. Clevenger also having a really good season. 19 starts, 9-5 with a 3.30 ERA, and probably pitching his best baseball as we speak. The league hitting just 208 against Clevenger. Let's take a look at the Cleveland Indians defense presented by Tim Hortons. Chisenhall, Naquin, Bruce in the outfield. Diaz, Lindor, Ramirez, Santana in the infield. And Perez is getting the nod behind the dish this afternoon.
Here is Ian Kinsler to get it started for the Tigers. Clevenger goes to work, and the first pitch of today's ball game is a strike called on Ian. 94 from Clevenger. The 26-year-old out of Jacksonville, Florida. That ball hammered just foul down the third base line. 0-2 now on Ian. Tigers defeated last night by a score of 2-0. They managed only 5 hits against Corey Kluber. Here's the 0-2. And it missed outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Really, is there anybody in this rotation now for the Indians that is not pitching well?
Well, he is pitching so well that Danny Salazar, who has been in the rotation the last couple of years, is now pitching out of the bullpen.
Oh, he tied up Kinsler there, and down he goes. 1 gone.
Here's what I'm talking about regarding Clevenger in his last 3 starts. He has been pitching some tremendous baseball. Fastball gets into the mid-90s, and he's another guy that's really started to throw that breaking ball. 3-0. He has not given up a run. The whip is under 1. And take a look at the opponent's batting average, 159.
3 straight starts of 6 scoreless innings for Clevenger. Here's Presley now with 1 gone. Alex shoots one in the air to shallow left field. It's going to drop, base hit. Presley had a double in last night's game, and now a 1-out single here in the first.
Alex Presley has done his best work against the American League Central. His batting average well over 400.
Most of that against the Indians. He has killed Cleveland. And now here is Cabrera, the DH today for the Tigers. Tough night last night for Miggy. He was 0 for 4, made the final out of the game, punched out a couple of times. And Cabrera looks at a strike on the inside part of the plate. Generous call there from the home plate umpire, Quinn Walcott. Cabrera is batting .246 on the year, 15 home runs. And that ball inside is going to nail the catcher Perez, who buckled. And a ball that hit the bat and then drilled Perez.
Miguel is probably getting tired of the inside fastballs that he has gotten from the Cleveland Indians, and they're not so much the fact that they're inside, but it's the location of a lot of these fastballs inside to Miggy. I mean, if you're going to pitch him inside, it's okay. Everybody understands you have to pitch Miggy inside, but when you're going up and in, it's just not a good thing, and they've done it a lot to Miggy this year.
Right off the left thigh, the unprotected area for Perez. 0-2 on Cabrera, and you can tell at times, Rod, the frustration on Miguel's face.
And I think he has allowed it to affect the way that he has performed this year against Cleveland. And they usually go up and in to Miggy, then they usually go right back down with a breaking ball away.
Up and in again. So they continue to dust Cabrera off the plate. 1-2 on Miguel. Beautiful sunny afternoon here in Cleveland for the final game of the series. The Indians going for their 21st consecutive victory. Now the 1-2.
All 4 pitches so far to Miguel Cabrera thrown by Clevenger, all 4 inside.
Cabrera right now trying to break it 0 for 10. He is 0 for 7 in this series. Here's the 2-2. Popped him up. Right side. Bruce on the charge. So is Ramirez. Ramirez calling and makes a fabulous catch from his second base position.
Usually the right fielder will make this play, but Ramirez is so confident, and he runs a long way to get to this ball, even into foul territory, and he even calls off Bruce once he gets there. He made a great play in last night's game, but look at him take a beeline for this ball. Santana wasn't going to get there. Bruce could have caught it, but it was Ramirez who called off Bruce at the last moment right there and told him, I've got this one.
We were talking before the game today about Kipnis, and when he returns, he's taking fly balls in the outfield now. Ramirez is playing so well as second base, it's going to be hard to unseat him.
Yeah, they've got a pretty nice shortstop second base tandem here in Cleveland. It's very young, it's very athletic, and they've got some outstanding hitters.
Here is Castellanos. Nick fouls it back out of play. Bernstein advantage on Mr. Castellanos, who has had the advantage this season batting cleanup. .397 in this spot in the Tigers lineup.
And Nicholas also with a 9-game hitting streak had 2 great at-bats yesterday against Corey Kluber. And he was able to inside out a couple of balls the opposite way. 1 for a single, 1 for a double.
I think a lot of times, Rod, you can tell what kind of a hitter a guy is and how the approach he takes against the elite pitchers in the league. And Nick's not afraid of anybody these days. Here's a foul back 0-2.
Already a lot of fastballs up top thrown by Clevenger. That might be his plan of attack today, or it might be the plan of attack by the catcher Perez. First couple of games of the series, Yan Gomes caught, and they don't really miss anything with Perez behind the dish. He's as good a catcher and thrower is Yan Gomes.
0-2 on Nick. A 1-out single by Presley. He is still there with 2 outs. Quick throw and Presley back.
Another huge walk-up crowd here today, partner. It looks like hundreds of people still trying to file into the ballpark. It's a whole lot of people who played hooky from work and school today.
You know, their announced crowd last night was a little over 24,000. I thought it was better than that.
I did too. It looked like it was more people than that. Majority of that crowd was a walk-up crowd.
Now the 0-2. 1-2 on Nick.
Here's where Nick will take either the breaking ball or the fastball, and he won't try to pull it. He's got a huge hole on the right side with Ramirez playing him up the middle. He'll simply try to hit something in that direction by inside-outing his swing. He did it twice yesterday.
That'll get away from Perez. Not far enough, though, as Presley will hold.
And Presley was going back to the bag as that ball got into the hitting zone, and that's not what you want to be doing. When that ball gets away from the catcher, as far as that one got away from Perez, if you're Presley and you've got good speed, you can get yourself into scoring position if you've taken the proper secondary lead. But he was going back to the bag when that ball got into the hitting zone. Watch Presley here. So he's already headed back. And now he wants to go to second base. It's too late.
2-2 on Castellanos. Bouncing ball to third, foul. Not too many Tigers in the lineup today have good numbers against Clevenger. In fact, Nick is 0 for 7.
He's kind of had his way against Tiger bats this year. You would think it'd be Kluber or Carrasco or Salazar or Bauer, but Clevenger has been just as good against Tiger bats as any of them this season.
He has allowed just 1 run in 18 innings versus Tigers hitters this year.
And he's got 18 strikeouts.
Again, the 2-2. Nick fought that one off and banged it off his foot. Say what you want about the Carrascos and the Klubers on this staff. They have really lengthened the staff this year with what Bauer has been able to do and Clevenger. They're just so much deeper now. So much so that we saw Salazar come out of the bullpen in this series, and he's featuring his 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
That is really going to bode well for Francona once they do get to the postseason, having a guy the caliber of Salazar coming out of the bullpen along with Shaw, along with Andrew Miller, who's going to pitch tomorrow in Kansas City. He's coming off the disabled list. You have Allen out there. You have Otero. They've got a deep bullpen. I don't think anybody wants to play this team come September. No, October, excuse me.
Or September.
You're right.
Here's the 2-2 again. Just missed outside. Run at full now, 3-2.
This has been a great at-bat by Nicholas Castellanos. He fell behind Clevenger, no balls and 2 strikes, and Clevenger's got some wipeout stuff. Nicholas has now worked the count back to his favor by taking that 94 mile-per-hour fastball just a couple of inches off the outside corner.
9-game streak right now for Nick. His season high is an 11-gamer he had back in May. Runner will go on 3-2. And he lost him, ball 4, so a whale of an at bat there by Castellanos. 2-out walk for Nick. That'll keep it going now for Jeimer Candelario. Tigers somehow, some way, just need to scratch across a run. I mean, it's been forever since they've gotten a run.
Shut out in back-to-back games here. I believe the last time they scored a run was in the 5th or 6th inning in Toronto on Sunday.
Yeah, the 2-run homer by Kinsler in the 5th inning, and that has been it. Now Candelario with 2 outs. 2 out of 7 of the series. Ball 1. Tigers last night looked like they would score first when Kinsler led off the game with a double against Kluber. They sacrificed him to third and then stranded him there. Jeimer batting .351 in a Tigers uniform. One and one. Where do you project Candelario? I know we haven't seen him a whole lot yet this year, but in terms of where do you think he would fit in this lineup? We've seen him batting 5th now quite a bit the last couple of days. Weeks, I should say.
Kind of hard to tell, but he's a guy that might be able to bat up in the batting order, a guy that could bat 2nd because he can handle the bat.
Pulled foul.
He's not afraid to take a pitch if you've got a guy that can run who's the leadoff hitter. Obviously, he's tough to match up against because he does slash from both sides of the dish. And when there's a runner on first base and that against a right-handed pitcher and he's being held on, he's got the ability to pull the ball to right field. So I can see him batting in that number 2 spot, or I can see him batting either in that number 6 spot somewhere. I don't see him as a middle-of-the-order bat, not for a few years.
1-2 on Candelario. Taken outside, 2-2. I would agree. I think the 2 spot might be something that the Tigers would consider going forward. He has shown the ability to put the ball in play to all fields. And defensively as well has shown that he can play some third base. Meanwhile, the Tigers are really making Clevenger work here. This will be his 23rd pitch of this inning.
And he's missed the strike zone with 9 of the 22. He's thrown 13 strikes.
Slapped in the air toward left field. Ball hit pretty good, and that ball's going to find a gap and go to the wall. Presley scores. Castellanos to third, and Candelario has given the Tigers a 1-0 lead. A gap shot to left center field for his 3rd RBI as a Tiger.
Yeah, pretty swing here by the youngster Candelario. 87-mile-per-hour changeup tailing away from him. And by the time that Naquin picks it up and gets it in, Candelario is coasting into second. Presley has already scored, and Nicholas Castellanos now standing on third base. Just to give you an idea of how deep this Cleveland team is, Nate Quinn is the third center fielder they've started in the 3-game series. Allen started the first day, Austin Jackson last night, and now Nate Quinn today.
Meanwhile, the Tigers get their first run of this series and their first run since the final game in Toronto. And now here is James McCann. The Indians are not used to trailing during this streak they put together. There's a strike call. McCann at 261. 1 for 4 in the series. In there, a strike called, 0-2 on James.
If you're Castellanos on third base, you have to anticipate that Clevenger might try to get McCann out with a breaking ball. And if that's the case and he bounces the breaking ball, you have to be ready to score if it gets away from the catcher, Perez.
Now the crowd getting back into it early here. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with that breaking ball to win the inning. Tigers settled for 1 run. They finally get on the board in the series. One nothing on the RBI double by Candelario. The starting lineup for the Indians presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, and for the Tribe today, Lindor, Chisenhall, and Ramirez. In the top 3 spots, Ramirez has been hot. Encarnacion, Bruce, and Santana. The bottom 3 features Diaz, Naquin, and Roberto Perez. Mr. Buck Farmer today presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Well, hopefully Buck can go out there and compete the same way that Matthew Boyd did in last night's game. Boyd gave up 1 run in last night's contest. Buck's won 4 games this year. You can see the ERA is high, but his stuff plays much better than that. He loves his fastball. He throws that 61% of the time. His changeup and his slider are the next best 2 pitches that Buck uses. He also features a curveball.
Francisco Lindor looks at strike 1 to get things rolling here in the bottom of the first.
You know, one of the things that we have talked about at length, Mario, the last couple of days, that the Cleveland Indians pitchers, even though they throw in the mid-90s, none of the guys throw their fastball more than 50%. They throw more breaking balls than fastballs. And then when you look at Buck, he's at 61% with his fastball. He has a mid-90s fastball, but maybe some guys ought to start taking a page out of what Cleveland's staff is starting to do.
Pull to first and fair down the line. It'll go to the corner. Lindor is on his way to second, dug up in the corner by Castellanos, and it'll be a leadoff two-bagger for Francisco Lindor.
That's like 6 or 7 games in a row that Lindor has gotten an extra base hit. He homered to lead off the game last night for his team. There's a fastball that Lindor simply turns on right past the diving Andrew Romine.
So Lindor remains hot. That is a 7-game hitting streak now for their shortstop. Here's Lonnie Chisenhall. Played in game 1 in the series, was 0 for 5. But regardless, having a good year at .295. Now McCann will stroll out to the mound here to talk with Farmer after the leadoff double by Lindor. Well, your point about the Indian staff and all the breaking balls, backing off the fastball, I wonder if that is a blueprint now that a lot of other clubs are starting to copy.
Well, we talked about the Houston Astros as a staff. They throw a lot of breaking balls. They have a lot of guys with signature pitches, whether it be change-ups or curveballs, and I think that may be where a lot of pitching staffs are going these days.
Chisenhall showing bunt.
Terry Francona starting to get into playoff mode already with runner on second base and guys sacrificing and the runner over to third base. We saw Allen do that in the game 1, I think it was.
Yes, it
got
was
a base
Allen.
hit. Yeah,
got a base hit on it. Yep. The 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Now 0-2 on Chisenhall. Lonnie's sitting on 12 homers. His career high is 13. He's had a good year against Tigers pitching. 4 of his home runs versus the Tigers staff.
One of those a grand slam.
That was a pinch hit grand slam.
That's right.
Here's the 0-2. The Indians, as we mentioned, are not used to trailing, and throughout this streak of 20 consecutive wins, they've trailed in only 4 innings in the 20-game stretch. Their last loss was August 23rd.
Terry Francona killing that bubble gum again today. How do you chew that much bubble gum?
I don't know. Hope he's on a good fluoride program. 1-2 on Chisenhall. Inside, good stop there by McCann. Level the count now, 2-2. Buck Farmer pitched well in Toronto in his last start. 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run. The Tigers, though, as we've mentioned throughout the course of the series, need to have their starters go deeper into games. Did he go? Yes, he went around. Chisenhall is out of there, 1 gone.
I don't think Brad will do it here, but I wouldn't be afraid to walk Ramirez here. We've got a base open as we get a look at Chisenhall not able to hold up on that breaking ball. I know the Encarnacion in the on-deck circle is a dangerous bat, but he's grounded into 17 double plays, and I've seen enough of Ramirez. I don't know about you.
Well, let's see. 26 home runs this year, 9 of which have come against the Tigers. 73 RBIs, MVP candidate. At the very least, I'm sure they'll be extremely cautious with Ramirez. And there is strike 1 in the outer edge. He got the call there.
And really, Ramirez has demonstrated such great bat range. I mean, he goes all the way from the bill of his cap all the way down to his shoestrings as to how he can cover the plate. And not only from one side, but he's done it from both sides.
That'll get away from McCann to third base. Lindor, he was taking the turn and tripped.
That hit him, I think. We're going to see what happened here, though. He's saying it hit him, but he swung. That's exactly what the umpire is telling him.
Yeah, and that's what he's saying. It hit him, but he swung.
Yeah, the ball hit him on the heel of that left shoe, but he swung at the pitch. That's a good call by Quinn Wolcott.
Here comes Tito Francona now.
Good slider there thrown by Buck. Outstanding pitch. He also threw an outstanding slider to Lonnie Chisenhall.
Meanwhile, 0-2 on Ramirez. Quinn Wolcott behind the dish. Honora, Emmel, and Barry. Your four-man umpiring crew. Scott Barry down at third base from Quincy, Michigan. Outside 1-2. You know, you look at Ramirez, he has 26 homers, and you wonder about a guy that is that tall hitting that many home runs. But I was reading an article about him a couple of years ago in their off-season workout conditioning programs. He set a franchise record for pull-ups. He did so many they had to tell him to stop.
Really?
And so when you look at Ramirez, sometimes looks can be deceiving, but he has a lot of upper body strength.
Well, this much I do know. If you look at his extra base hits and you look at the stat sheet that they give us every day when we get to the ballpark, his name is sprinkled at the top of a lot of big boy categories.
Farmer with the 2-2, and it's fouled away. Leadoff double by Lindor. He is there now with one out. Ramirez trying to score him.
Yeah, just about everything away from Ramirez with the exception of that one pitch that hit him on the heel that he swung at.
Hammered foul. .492 this year against Tigers pitching for Jose Ramirez. He's got his running mate at second in Lindor. A little bit outside. That one just missed. Now the count has gone full at 3-2. Farmer wanted that one. Really good pitch by Buck. And he thought he had him. And he walked him. The appeal on the check swing did not go. It'll put two on now for Encarnacion.
And Buck was able to get ahead of Jose Ramirez. No balls and 2 strikes, and Ramirez still able to coax that walk from Buck. Now you have to guard against a double steal here. Lindor has good speed. Ramirez has good speed. If you're Buck Farmer, you have to pay attention to both of those base runners right now. You cannot allow them to steal these bases. Told you that Encarnacion has grounded into 17 twin killings this year, which is more than anybody on their current roster.
Infield playing to pull on Encarnacion.
It was Jose Ramirez that was holding Lindor close to the bag when the left-hander Ramirez was in the batter's box. Now it's Ian Kinsler's responsibility of keeping Lindor close to the bag and not allowing him to get a good lead to steal a bag.
What goes into deciding who covers the bag or who holds the runner close?
I think it depends on the hitter that's in the batter's box, whether it's a right-hander or a left-hander, depending on whether he's a pull hitter or a guy that will hit the ball the opposite way. Then they determine whether it will be Jose or whether it will be Ian Kinsler. In this case, Encarnacion is a dead pull hitter.
The 1-0. 2-0.
So when Encarnacion steps in his batter's box, you know that most of the time he hits the ball to left field. So therefore, you want your shortstop to be in a pretty good position to where he can cover most of the ground on that left side. you can see 65% of the time he goes in Iglesias' direction. Not so much where Ian is.
Three 3-0 now on Encarnacion, who came in with 95 walks this year, which was second only to Aaron Judge. And now Buck is one pitch away from loading the bases for Jay Bruce. Tigers got a run in the first, and the Indians threaten here in the bottom. In there, a strike called, up and in. 3-1. Encarnacion has 16 home runs since the All-Star break. 34 for the year. Three and two.
Encarnacion is the only player in the majors that has homered at least 30 times a year in the last 6 seasons. 6 consecutive seasons, 30 homers or more for Edwin.
A lot of taters since 2012, 227 for Encarnacion.
No one has hit more.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and a huge early out there for Buck Farmer. He came back down 3-0 and strikes out Encarnacion.
It's a beautifully located four-seam fastball that is down away from Encarnacion, and he could not come up with it. Can't locate a fastball better than that at 94.
That'll bring up Jay Bruce now with 2 outs. Bruce 1-for-5 in the series, 33 home runs this year. And those are numbers combined with the Mets and the Indians. He was acquired from the Mets on August 9th. That's why sometime that July 31st trade deadline can be a misnomer, because you can still pick up guys that go through waivers after the 31st. A lot of good trades have been made in August.
Right.
And Bruce, one of them, they gave up just an A-ball pitcher to get Jay Bruce.
Yeah, they acquired him as soon as Michael Brantley went down with his latest ankle injury. I believe Bruce was acquired the very next day.
Sliced foul out of play, 1-1.
He's paid huge dividends as well. He's got great power. Spent his career playing for the Cincinnati Redlegs. Hit a lot of homers in Great American Ballpark.
Nine years as a member of the Reds, Jay Bruce. Seemed like his name was coming up at trade deadline talks every single season.
Right.
That coveted power that he has. The 1-1. High, towering fly ball to left field. That ball is hit well. It's going to the track. It's going to the wall. Jones looks up, and that ball is gone. Jay Bruce has gone the other way with a 3-run shot, and the Indians have the lead. There's some of those dividends you were talking about.
.93-mile-per-hour fastball tailing away from Bruce. He stayed with it and hit it right off the top of the wall, and it bounced back into fair territory, and I believe the umpires are going to look at it.
As it stands right now, a 3-run homer for Bruce. They will check the video.
The previous play is currently under replay review. The umpires are replaying game 6. The umpire reviewing the previous play to determine if the ball.
Scott Berry ran out there and signaled home run. And we'll see if the homer stands. was awfully close at the top of the wall on left center field. Jones played it. And Bruce obviously hoping it stands.
As far as that ball came back into play, though, it's hard to believe that it hit the top of that cushion and didn't hit the fence.
Right.
As far as it came back into center field.
I think you're right. I think that's probably the main point there, that railing up there. Because it bounced pretty hard. Well, they're taking a good long look at it. There's the railing above the fence. Turned into a lengthy review. Here's another look. I think it's probably a home run. Yeah, it is. They ruled it a home run. So it'll stand a 3-run shot for Bruce to make it 3-1.
And Brad wants an explanation from the umpire. That's Paul Immel. Paul Immel is the crew chief. There's a ball right in that area there.
Number 1, the ball on the field stands, and now batting for the Indians, first baseman, Carlos Santana.
That is close. So the Indians have the lead. That'll bring up Santana now. A 3-run shot for Bruce, number 34 on the year. It's been a lengthy inning for both Clevenger and Farmer. Clevenger 26 pitch first. And here's number 26 for Buck.
And
during
the 20-game winning streak for the Cleveland Indians, it's been a different guy from an offensive standpoint every night getting it done. Bruce has done very little in the first 2 games of the series, but homers today here in the first frame.
1 ball, 1 strike on Santana. He has walked 3 times in this series. And throughout the course of his career, he is usually top 5 in walks in the American League. Here's the 2-1. 2-2 Carlos. Ripped down the right field line, foul by just a couple of feet. So for as long as the top of the first was for Clevenger, it's even longer now for Buck. That was his 30th of the afternoon. Ratio not all that good.
As well as Matthew Boyd competed last night, the Cleveland Indians bats still taxed him for 115 pitches in 5 innings. So they are going up there, and these guys right now, they're not giving away at bats. I mean, they're concentrating. Even when they fall behind 0-2, they work the count back into their favor until they get a good pitch to hit.
Swing and a miss. Santana's out of there, and that'll finally end the inning. 3-run shot by Jay Bruce has given Cleveland the lead. we go to the top of the second here in Cleveland. Hey, stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll be selecting the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's. Stop by for your breakfast favorites, now being served all day. Well, the Tigers got themselves a 1-0 lead, and then Jay Bruce promptly gave the Indians the advantage with a 3-run shot in the first. Here is Romine to get things started for the Tigers. He'll look at a strike from Clevenger. A 26-pitch first inning for Clevenger. Romine pops it up foul, and headed back toward the seats is their room. Diaz runs out of room. Andrew today is patrolling first base.
It seems like Andrew has made starts at 6 different positions on this 6-game road trip. He's been in just about every game. Starts in center, starts at short, starts in left. Today's at first.
0-2, the count stays on Romine.
Romine wants to play a game this year. I think he told Brad at every single position, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's been lobbying for that
huh?
for a couple of years, and obviously you've got to have a situation where the team is out of it. It doesn't mean anything, and
they're out of it.
Where the Tigers are right now, that is the case. Now, whether or not he'll be able to do it, I don't know, but catching probably, I think, for Andrew would be the toughest of those positions. He's pretty accomplished everywhere else.
I don't know if you were here at that particular time, but didn't Shane Halter do that one time in a Tigers uniform?
Yep. Yeah, I was not here at that point, but yeah, he did do it. All 9 positions in one game. Swing and miss. Got away from Perez. And they'll throw him out. And Clevenger now with his 3rd strikeout. Here is Jacoby Jones.
Center fielder Jacoby Jones.
Jacoby just 1 hit on the road trip, 1 for 12. Batting 163. Jones had that 2-homer game on the last homestand, and you saw signs that maybe he was starting to figure things out and would get on a bit of a roll here in September. Wave and a miss. 1-1.
And back-to-back sliders thrown to Jacoby. Even in the fastball count, he was ready for the fastball, but it's a good pitch by Clevenger. Apparently that's the book on the youngster Jacoby Jones, is that he struggles with off-speed stuff.
Jones a couple of years ago was acquired from the Pirates in the Joakim Soria deal at the trade deadline. 4 stints now with the Tigers this year. And Jacoby looks at a ball outside, 2-2. Iglesias waiting on deck. Got him, strike 3. Breaking ball bottom of the strike zone, and there are 2 gone now. We're bringing Johnny Kane now with more on our next batter, Jose Iglesias.
Yeah, guys, I actually saw Iggy in the hotel lobby earlier today on his way over to the ballpark. Good to see him back here, obviously. Remember, he just welcomed a brand new baby boy last week, Alvaro Jose Iglesias, and certainly he was dealing with taking care of his family. He said his primary order of business with Hurricane Irma coming through, I had to make sure my family was safe. His wife actually had to be evacuated from the hospital where she had their new baby boy the day after she gave birth. So luckily everybody was okay. He said his home's okay, just a little bit of trees down, but he's happy to be back here with the big league club.
It's great news. And don't think, Johnny Kane, I didn't notice you trilling that R on Alvaro.
He rolled him, didn't he?
He did, man. That was nice.
I'm working on it.
Nicely done.
I'll check back with you guys later, but I also met a fan earlier today, and she was giving us some pointers on how to pronounce Candelario.
Oh, okay.
You'll want to hear it.
All right. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now, and when you think about the pronunciation in the vowels in Spanish, it should be Candelario. But
for sure.
When we asked how it's pronounced, they said Candelario. So we always run into that. So whatever Jamer wants, we'll certainly give him.
For sure.
Meanwhile, it's 1-2 on Iglesias.
But I can see why it would be Candelario.
We should start doing it that way.
Why not?
Elongating it. Candelario. There's a bouncer up the middle. Here's Ramirez. And Iggy is out of there. 1-2-3 for Clevenger. Tiger season ticket holders, renew your season tickets now through October 6th. You'll be eligible for our 30 prizes in 30 days raffle and a chance to win once-in-a-lifetime fan experiences. Go to tigers.com/seasons to renew today. March 29th against the Pirates is when the Tigers will open up next year in 2018.
All 30 teams next year will all play on the 29th of March. First time that's happened in a long, long time where every single team will open up on the same day.
It should be, I think.
I think what they did is they've added in more off days during the course of the regular season, and that's why everybody is starting the season on the 29th.
The earliest start time, I think, in the history of Major League Baseball. Chopper to the right side, fielded there by Romine. One gone. How about we look ahead to the 2018 campaign for the Tigers? We got the home opener we mentioned on the 29th against the Pirates. The National League Central will be featured in interleague play.
Chicago Cubs will make a visit to Comerica Park along with the Houston Astros. Justin Verlander will be coming back.
Spring training always seems to creep up on you very quickly.
Well, it'll be Halloween, then Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then it's time to get back to work. Just seems like the offseason flies by.
Not sure there really is an off-season anymore with all the awards and then, of course, the winter meetings and then spring training. It does, you say, fly by quickly.
Well, the players don't take time off that much, we do know. I mean, guys may take a couple of weeks off. They may go on a short vacation, but then guys are back in the gym, but guys are working out, getting ready for the next year. It's pretty much become a year-round sport. Whereas back in the day, guys would take the entire offseason off, and they would use spring training to get themselves in shape. It's not the way anymore. Guys come to spring training in shape these days.
Naquin looks at a ball high, 2-2 on the Tribe center fielder. It's a big part of their success last year. Naquin pretty much buried at AAA this year, though. Bradley Zimmer was having a good season before he broke his hand a couple of nights ago. That is sliced down the left field line, foul. Presley runs out of room.
Indians have a surplus of really good center fielders right now. They've got the veteran Austin Jackson. They've got Zimmer, who hurt himself the other day, who's going to be their center fielder for the next decade. Obviously, Nate Quinn can go out there, and that kid Allen, who was in Double-A last year. Whoa, Double-A this year, excuse me.
This year.
Now in the big leagues, played center field in the first game of the series. It can really run.
Yeah, and Greg Allen, one of their finer prospects, which begs the question, and we were chatting about this before the game, with Kipnis coming back and taking fly balls to center field. Would you rather have him out there in the postseason in center, or a guy that has played center field?
I would rather have a guy out in center field in the postseason that has played out there. I understand what Kipnis is doing. He's a team player. He does not want to upset the chemistry right now that the Tribe are enjoying. He's not going to play second base, but if Kipnis was hitting a lot right now and having a great offensive year, I would have no problem putting him in center field. But if he's not having a great offensive year, I'd rather have a legitimate center fielder out there.
3-2 is in there. Strike three called. Off speed. You got Naquin looking.
Second changeup that Buck has gotten a strikeout with today. He also punched out Encarnacion with a really good changeup. Excuse me, that was Santana. He struck out with a changeup. He threw that one a little harder than the one that he threw to Santana. That one was at 87 miles an hour. I believe the one to Santana was 84 miles an hour. So Buck changing speeds on the changeup. What do you think about Kipnis in center field?
I agree with you. I think that defense really becomes a premium in the postseason, and I think there's enough offense on this team where they can carry a guy that may not be hitting as well as some of the others, but it's not like Jackson is total devoid of offense. He's been a pretty good offensive player this year,
especially against left-handers.
No doubt. So yeah, I would agree with that. And it's hard though when you have a guy that has meant so much to the organization like Kipnis, you know, to just say, well, you're gonna have to watch. But as you say, if he's not having the offensive type of year where you can put him out in center field and live with it, then you probably can't do it.
I think they could probably use him on the 25-man roster. He can run,
sure.
So he could pinch run. He could pinch hit against tough right-handers. He's a gamer.
Experience.
Yeah. They could probably use him on the roster, but I just wouldn't start him in center field. Terry Francona will have to make that decision, and he's made a lot of really right decisions since he's taken over as a manager of the Tribe 5 years ago.
And the other thing you could say is, all right, we'll put it back at second base, move Ramirez back to third, but Ramirez has been really good at second.
He's comfortable there too right now. Francona was a really good player himself. Had some knee injuries that pretty much curtailed his career as a hitter, but man, he could hit.
Perez waves and misses. He's down on strikes. Buck Farmer comes back with a 1-2-3 inning. Tigers have the top of the order coming up. Here in Cleveland, and by the way, just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game. It's brought to you by Miller Lite. What's going on here? Little hang gliding going on. It's pretty quick. Is that how you got to the ballpark today, Rod?
Never.
You would never ever do it?
I would never ever do that.
For $1 million, would you?
Well, we might have to talk about it. We might have to talk about it.
Here is Kinsler now to get it going, and Ian looks at a strike. Tigers got a run in the first on the double by Candelario to make it 1-0. Jay Bruce hit a 3-run homer then. Ian tried to hold up.
He's lucky that pitch didn't hit him. Clevenger pitching inside and working fast. Tigers are going to have to slow him down. Looks like he's got a lot of nervous energy on the mound.
I was about to say he's the anti-Corey Kluber in terms of how he goes about his business.
Yeah.
Kluber is just so stoic and relaxed, and Clevenger just hopping around out there, rocking back and forth. Soft liner caught by Ramirez, one gone. Here are the Chevy most dependable players as Presley comes in. Tigers have some streaks going right now. Nick a 9-gamer. Iglesias at 6 and Presley at 6. He had a single in the first. And he has scored the only Tigers run. Presley looks at a strike. Clevenger pretty good, 9 of 11 in first pitch strikes in this game. Oh, he's going to shoot one to left and another base hit for Presley. Little soft serve out there. He is 2 for 2. And the Tigers have something going on now here in the third with Miguel Cabrera coming up.
You need to go buy a lottery ticket before the game today when we were talking about pick the stick, and you were talking about Presley and the fact that he was going to slash a couple the opposite way. He's done it twice already.
Dude, I'm in third place in the standings. You don't want me picking your guys. You're in first place. Yeah, you get lucky every now and then. Cabrera popped up in the first inning. Again, in on his hands.
And it's a pitch that's off the plate. But Miguel knows they're going to go in there. So he starts to look in there, and this ball starts to tail inside on Miggy, and he just can't get to it. I mean, this is the ball that when Miggy's right, he's not even swinging at this ball. You can't really hit this, or you can't do much with it. But Miggy knows that that's where they're pitching him.
Oh, man, up and in, and he couldn't hold up.
And then they go up and in on Miggy. Just about every pitch to Miguel so far today has been off the plate, inside, up and in.
The Indians this year have done a tremendous job of just totally neutralizing Miguel Cabrera for the entire year.
Yeah, it kind of started last year.
I mean, Cabrera used to just torture Indians pitching. He is still career .335 against the Tribe, but this year 167.
See if Clevenger goes outside with a breaking ball now, or if he simply goes right back in there with another heater.
Just missed outside. Fastball away.
Good pitch. 94. Just missed.
Got him, strike 3. Top of the zone, and Cabrera caught looking for out number 2.
Now batting number 9, Nicholas Castellanos.
It'll be the 5th strikeout of the game now for Clevenger. There's Castellanos, who battled him mightily in the first inning and eventually walked. Nick trying to extend his hitting streak to 10 straight. Strike one.
We talked about this with Corey Kluber last night. Mickey Callaway is their pitching coach, and he has these guys over on the right side of the rubber. That allows guys to get that fastball inside to the left-handers and away from the right-handers. We saw Kluber in last night's game. He was over on that first base side of the rubber as far as Clevenger is. That also allows you to get the breaking balls down and away from the righties.
Ground ball up the middle. Lindor can't get it into center field. Presley will go to second and stop there. And that'll be a 10-game hitting streak now for Castellanos.
Castellanos just continues to hit, and it really doesn't matter who is on the mound.
Well, it was Jamer that knocked in the Tigers' run in the first inning. He'll get a chance here in the third.
It was a beautiful piece of hitting by Jamer as well. It was a two-seam fastball in about 93 that he simply laced the opposite way into the left center field gap for an RBI and a double.
Candelario's third RBI as a Tiger. He has yet to hit a homer for the Tigers. And we do know that Jamer has some power down at AAA this year. 15 home runs. 71 driven in. Ball one.
And Jamer was kind of buried in the Chicago Cubs organization behind Chris Bryant. And they also have the Baez kid that plays some third and some second and some shortstop. Zobrist, it was really nowhere for him to go in the Cubs organization, although he did get called up a couple different times.
Tigers gave up Alex Avila, Justin Wilson in that deal.
See, JD Martinez hit another homer yesterday.
He hit it pretty far, too.
Yeah, he broke the scoreboard, they said. Has 22 home runs now with his new squad.
Two and 0. Jamer Candelario.
Verlander also pitched to Jim yesterday in Los Angeles against the Angels. Verlander gave up a hit to the first batter that he faced in that game and did not give up another hit in the game. Pitched 8 innings.
JV would have to pitch game one of a playoff series for them, right?
For me, he would. And if Hinch wants to keep his job, he'll put Verlander in that #1 slot.
Now, they have Dallas Keuchel, who's pretty good, but Verlander, boy, the way he's going right now. 2-1, Jamer Candelario.
Stay ready for your fastball.
Foul away.
He did get the fastball. It was at 94, and I don't know if he had off speed in the back of his mind, but he was a little tardy on that heater. It was right down the middle.
Tying runs on for the Tigers here in the third. Singles by Presley and Castellanos. Got him. Strike 3 in the outside corner. Clevenger got the call there. His 6th strikeout of the game.
To do. I'm sitting here with about 60 retirees who have come in from the Detroit area, mainly Livonia, and we're watching a good baseball game here, and I'm joined by Stella Rodriguez. And Stella, you tracked me down a little bit earlier today when I was here at the ballpark, and you said you had to tell me something about Jeimer Candelario. Tell me about Candelario.
I want to tell Rod and Mario. Mario and Rod, please, can you please try to pronounce his name right? I'm Dominican, okay? And Spanish is a really easy language. So it's not Candelario, it's Candelario. Candelario. A. Like you're going to say, what word? Candelabra. See, candelabra. Candelario. Okay?
You got that? You got that up there?
Mario, you got that?
Now listen, hold on here. Hold on here.
All right, hold on. Hang on, Stella.
I got something to ask Stella here.
Okay.
Now, when
I'll
Pudge
try.
Rodriguez played here, his name should have been pronounced Pudge Rodriguez.
Okay.
But to do that sounds a little bit jarring, so we Americanized it, and everybody called him Pudge Rodriguez, not Rodriguez. So it's kind of the same here with Candelario.
No, it's a good point. He was making the point that, you know, when Pudge Rodriguez played, it would be more like Pudge Rodriguez. But he tried to Americanize it a little bit to make it a little simpler, you know? But we just call him Pudge. He don't like it.
The Candelario is just as easy as Candelario, isn't it?
I think so.
Hey, Johnny, you're going to lose that one.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
You're going to lose that one, Johnny.
He said thank you. Stella said thank you, keeping us on our P's and Q's, and we appreciate it. She's been a lifelong baseball fan. Used to pull for the Yankees when you lived in New York. Phil Rizzuto was your guy, but now it's all Tigers.
Now it's all Tigers. And then I moved to Maryland. So guess who my guy was there? Brian Roberts. Remember?
Good player. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Brian Roberts.
Miguel.
All
Venezuela.
right. I love it. No, this is great, man. Great group of Tigers fans here today. And Stella, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Boys, back to you. Mario.
It's Mario. Tell Stella we love her. Thank you very much, Johnny.
Boys say they love you.
All right, we appreciate it. Well, that lesson has taken us through the first batter of the inning. Chisenhall now is the hitter. What did Lindor do?
She was name dropping too. Tell Rod and tell Mario.
What did Lindor do? Did he ground out?
I don't even know.
Okay, thank you. 4-3. No, that's great. No, we get it a lot, though. We certainly try to adhere to pronunciations. And really, more than anyone, I'm kind of attuned to that because I will get, when we go to Canada, people call me Mario. And I'll get that a lot because that's just the way they pronounce it.
Right.
And so I kindly have to correct them and say Mario. So I understand. And so from now on, it's going to be Candelario. Unless I forget. Strike 3 called on Chisenhall. Check in now with the game break and Matt Shepard.
Number 11, Jose Ramirez.
All right, Shep, thanks. And here is Jose Ramirez now with 2 gone here in the third. Ramirez had a walk and scored a run. That is 6 punch-outs now for Buck Farmer.
Buck has demonstrated on occasion that he can come up here and get some swings and misses. He's got the fastball that gets into the mid-90s. He's got the breaking ball that he's worked on in Toledo, and it's gotten better. But it's that changeup against left-handers that is a really good pitch for Farmer, and he always uses that to his advantage.
Buck had 11 strikeouts against the White Sox in his first big league start this year.
As a matter of fact, it may not be a bad time right now for Buck to come back with a changeup here to Ramirez, a dangerous fastball hitter, especially on fastballs inside.
The 2-1.
It's a good pitch. It's a breaking ball. He went with a breaking ball instead of the changeup.
Three and 1 on Ramirez. He'll hammer that one to the gap. Jacoby over there quickly to get it. Ramirez trying for 2. The throw, and he is safe. Jacoby Jones got to that ball lickety split, man, and made it close.
Didn't he, though? Outstanding play by Jacoby Jones and a fast tag by Iglesias, but it looks like Ramirez gets in there. But how about Jacoby Jones getting over to that ball in right center field to even make this play close? This is why they like Jacoby. I mean, he gets there and he turns and he fires a one-hop bullet strike to Iglesias right on the bag. My new favorite player.
Look at that, right out of the box, thinking double.
Energizer Bunny.
But that play is exactly why the Tigers are aching, and I mean aching, to have Jacoby figured out offensively.
New favorite player that plays for another team, that is.
Here's Encarnacion now with 2 outs.
You and I were talking about Ramirez before the game today, and we were just kind of kicking around over the years in however many games he's played against the Tigers this year. Are there any guys that have put up the kind of numbers that he has put up in 17 games? And we found some other guys that had some similar numbers to Ramirez. But overall, the damage that he has done in the 17 games against the Tigers are historic.
That's in the air to shallow right field. Kinsler back, and it's going to drop. Base hit. Never get a run in. Castellanos was too deep to get to that ball. A bloop single for Encarnacion, and it's 4-1 Cleveland.
Encarnacion needs to thank Jose Ramirez for that hustling double, and because obviously he doesn't score on that bloop single. Encarnacion with another RBI.
I don't think, Rod, you can overstate the importance of energy this time of the month in a pennant race with what's going on here in Cleveland. You cannot overstate that type of energy, and that's what Ramirez gives them.
He sure does, and he really has done that since he's come to the big leagues. They've got a nice balance. They really do, and nobody really wants to play the Tribe right now, not in October.
Here's Jay Bruce. 3-run shot to the opposite field back in the first. Homer number 34 on the season for Bruce. Swing and a miss.
Buck able to get the first 2 hitters out in the inning. That would be Lindor and Chisenhall in the strikeout, but a 3-1 fastball that he threw to Ramirez was roped into the right center field gap, and that allowed the Tribe to score another run here in the third.
Outside 1-2. This is a Tribe team that has gotten production from just about everybody during this streak. In fact, the night the streak started for the Indians, they beat Chris Sale, but their 7, 8, 9 guys totaled up 9 hits in that game. So their lineup is really, really deep. That'll dive low, and all of a sudden the count even 2-2. Buck had that 32 pitch first. And much like Boyd last night, the pitch count eventually got Boyd. That was it. And he held them in check until he just ran out of bullets. Low and away. Off speed there, and Bruce able to hold up now with 2 outs and a 3-2 count. Runner will move. The sun has been doing its best to burn through the clouds here today. Rolled foul. Lost, I think, in this long winning streak the Indians have had this year is the fact that their magic number is down to 5 now to clinch the American League Central Division. And obviously that is a foregone conclusion. But when you clinch with about 2 weeks to go, I think that might be the best case scenario. Maybe a week, 2 weeks to go. That way you can kind of set your rotation, rest some guys.
Right.
And yet you're not sitting around for a month trying to keep sharp. Pulled foul.
And guys that are nursing little injuries, little nagging injuries, you can get them off their feet for a couple of days to get better and get ready for the postseason.
This will be the 8th pitch coming up in this at-bat. There have been some lengthy at-bats in this series or this game.
Bigger crowd here today than last night.
And he walked him. And that one just missed. So Jay Bruce with a base on balls. Keep it going now for Santana. It's going to bring Brad out of the dugout. Oh man, he's just been thrown out of the game. Ausmus was jawboning with Quinn Walcott as he was walking out, and now McCann getting in his face. Was it McCann or was it the skip that was thrown out?
I thought it was Brad that was thrown out, to be honest with you. I don't know for sure, but it looked like Brad was probably questioning the strike zone of Quinn Walcott here today, which you can't do.
Well, it apparently was McCann because now Brad has been thrown out.
Right, and you can kind of hear Brad through our microphones talking about he wants the same strike zone as they're giving to the Cleveland Indians, and Brad on several occasions continues to point toward the Cleveland dugout. He just did it again.
So McCann has been ejected. Ausmus has been ejected.
That is the first career ejection for James McCann.
Yeah, that does not surprise me. And so he will depart. And so will Brad after a few parting shots. It was after that last pitch McCann turned around there.
Well, the one thing that James can't do is you really can't turn around and get into the umpire's face when you're questioning a call. Now, had James still been looking toward Buck Farmer, he would have probably been able to have a conversation with Walcott. But obviously, you've noticed several pitches today that were very close. It should have been gone Buck's way.
And I think the whole crux of the argument is that the Indians have gotten those calls. The Tigers apparently, in their eyes, have not. So they're without their skipper the rest of this afternoon and their catcher. We'll see if it's going to be Holiday. I don't know if Brad was going out to talk to Farmer or if he was just using that as an opportunity to maybe deliver a message to Quinn Walcott.
I think you're right with the latter.
Yeah.
That he was going to go out there and he was going to wait until Quinn Walcott came to the mound to run him off, and then he was going to speak his mind. But once McCann got kicked out, obviously that changed his course of action.
So John Hicks is coming in to catch now. Rich Doobie is out to have a chat with Farmer. Hicks now will bat in McCann's slot, which is 6th in the lineup. And Gene Lamont now will take over as the acting manager.
Gene Lamont has had to do this quite a bit this year. Brad has been bounced from several games this season,
including the suspension he got in that fight with New York. Had to sit out a game for that. So Farmer now will face Santana here. Hicks behind the plate. Another long inning for Buck Farmer. This will be his 25th pitch, and this after retiring the first 2 batters quite quickly. Ball 1-2 Santana. 4-1 the Indians lead on the RBI single by Encarnacion. Outside 2-0.
Yeah, Buck is working himself into that dangerous fastball count again against a dangerous fastball hitter in Carlos Santana.
3-0. Farmer is on the brink of back-to-back walks here, and this one would load the bases if he can't get Santana. Infield play to pull on Santana, batting lefty. And he'll take ball 4 high. Back-to-back walks. I'll load him up now, and the Indians threatening to bust it open here.
And Gene Lamont and Rich Doobie discussing who they may want to use next if Buck continues to struggle here in the third. Daniel Norris probably would be a likely candidate.
Encarnacion, Bruce, and Santana on the bases. Ooh, look out. Down goes the home plate umpire, Quinn Walcott, who was drilled. And he is still on his back.
They were crossed up there, Hicks and Buck Farmer. This is scary.
The shoulder, the left shoulder, and it appeared a direct hit.
Ooh. That was a cross up there with a runner on second base. Hicks just came into the game, and he was not looking for a fastball. He was looking for an off-speed pitch and didn't get glove on that fastball. Says, I'm all right, let's go.
Walcott tells Hicks he's okay. 1 ball and no strikes.
Hicks no doubt apologizing to Quinn Walcott as well.
Diaz takes ball 2 inside, and now Farmer really digging a major hole here.
It's almost like he's just lost the strike zone. He's lost the arm slot that he was throwing some strikes with the last 3 batters.
Oh, look out. Inside almost hit him now. 3-0. Farrell is warming up in the Tigers bullpen. Diaz waits on a 3-0. Taking all the weights in there, a strike. $19 balls, 13 strikes in this inning now for Farmer. He's thrown 80 for the game. And a strike call, 3-2. Runners will be on the move here for the Indians. 2 are out with nobody on, then a double, a single, and 2 walks. Fouled away. Yandy Diaz a ground out in the second. Tigers at one point had a 1-0 lead. They got a run in the first. It's been all Cleveland since. They lead 4-1. Brad Ausmus has been ejected. So has James McCann. Line drive to left field is going to be caught on the run there by Presley. Basket catch to save the day, and Cleveland settles for 1. to you to start your day with First Things First. Weekday mornings on FS1 with hosts Chris Carter and Nick Wright. They will kick off the day with the latest in sports. First Things First, weekdays at 6:30 a.m. Eastern on FS1. All right, Tigers have some work to do now as Clevenger goes back to the hill, and he will face John Hicks, who will get his first at bat after entering the game for James McCann, who is ejected. And Hicks pounced it foul, back out of play, 0-1.
I've always wondered how much the backup catchers are in on the meetings before the game when you have Farmer and you have McCann and Doobie going over what they're going to do today against the Cleveland Indians. I wonder if guys like Hicks and Holiday are also in those meetings just in case they have to come into a game as Hicks had to do here today.
I wouldn't think it would hurt, would it? Have those guys in there?
No.
Swinging a miss.
I watch Hicks all the time, man. He's always got papers in front of him. He's always studying the opposing hitters when you walk into the Tigers clubhouse, reading over the scouting reports.
2-2 on Hicks. John has certainly made a name for himself in the Tigers organization this year. Broken bat roller towards second, Ramirez. And Hicks has gone one away. That'll bring up Romine. Strikeout victim back in the second was Romine. Clevenger has fanned 6 in this game. That is popped up. It'll be Ramirez and 2 quick outs.
The Indians as a staff already have 10-plus strikeouts in 82 games this year. 10-plus strikeouts in 82 games this year, which is it's just fascinating. I mean, all the numbers regarding this team in the last month or so are kind of hard to digest. I mean, when you look at them, you got to do a double take.
Well, Clevenger himself has 3 9-strikeout games. When you have guys like Kluber and Carrasco, those guys strike out a ton of batters, but 82 games at 10 or more. Just another one of those stats that make you scratch your head.
And Clevenger's kind of done his best work against Tigers bats coming into the contest. 18 innings, 17 strikeouts against the Tigers. 6 more today.
Chopper to the shortstop, Lindor. Jacoby is out of there. A 9-pitch fourth for Clevenger. 4-1 in favor of the Tribe, and Menards brings you the big money encounter. Anybody that's encountered the Indians these days, not so big.
Take a look at the run differential. 102 runs plus differential in the 20-game winning streak.
Team offense, team pitching. I mean, even the starters in the streak are 18-0. So that indicates they're going deep into games.
They have hit 40 home runs during the 20-game winning streak, and they've only given up 33 total runs to the opposition.
Naquin looks at a ball outside.
And it really doesn't stop there. I mean, the numbers are just sick. I mean, really, regarding the 20-game winning streak that they've been on.
This really was a team about 80 games into the season that was roughly a 500 team.
They were 48 and 45 at one time.
And it looks like Hicks got the brunt of that one. Yeah, and then all of a sudden they started taking off, and that's why, you know, sometimes, you know, you can put too much emphasis on April and May. And it takes a club sometimes just a while to gel, but I don't know that anybody expected to this degree.
They went 41 and 11 after they went out west to play the Giants and the Oakland Athletics, where they were 48 and 45 when they left there. Since that day, 41 and 11.
Well, they came out of the All-Star break going to Oakland and San Francisco, the two teams you talked about, and they were swept by Oakland, lost 2 out of 3 to the Giants. Little chopper to the right side. Naquin is out of there, 1 gone.
And they're going to do it probably without one guy driving in 100 runs this year. Encarnacion has 89. More than likely, he's not going to get there.
Well, Bruce got 93, but most of those obviously with the Mets. But Lindor in the 70s. Ramirez in the 70s. Pretty amazing. 1 gone now. Here is Perez, the catcher.
It's not a bad idea. And by Perez. And Jamer was playing about 5 steps in back of the third base bag, and he's going to go right back there and dare Perez to bunt again.
He spins one up there in for a strike. 0-2 on Perez. Lindor waiting on deck.
And the one thing that Buck Farmer continues to do, he continues to pitch inside. Or he's missing inside, one of the two, but fact of the matter is he has not been afraid to go in there.
The problem Farmer is having, the same issue that Boyd was having last night, is an elevated pitch count. He's got a chance to hit the 100 plateau here in the 4th. Gene Lamont has taken over the helm of the Tigers now, with Ausmus ejected from the game.
Well, Perez was drafted by the Cleveland Indians in 2008 in the 33rd round. 1,000 players were drafted before him.
I wonder how guys fight odds like that and get to the big leagues. It's obviously a lot of hard work.
You just have to continue to put up numbers because they're not going to give you anything. You have to outplay all the other guys that were drafted ahead of you. You really do.
Swing and a miss. Farmer another strikeout. That'll bring up Francisco Lindor, and we had a 12-10 start here locally today. And you know, Lindor, after a night game last night, right out there today working hard.
Yeah, he was getting it in. And with their strength and fitness conditioning coach, I did not realize that Lindor was this big upper body. I mean, he's got some nice biceps. He's a strong fella.
And I'm sitting there looking at Lindor, and I had to do a double take thinking, is he in the starting lineup?
Right.
You don't normally see guys go through that kind of strenuous workout on a day game following a night game.
That's probably why he is as good as he is. He's got some tremendous work ethic.
Doubled and scored in the first. He is 1 for 2. Pulled on the ground to first, and it's gobbled up there by Romine. And Buck Farmer has a 1-2-3 fourth. Indians, and Star Wars night is this Saturday. Tigers taking on the White Sox at 6:10. First 10,000 fans receive a free Star Wars tote bag. For tickets, go to tigers.com or call 866-66-TIGER. So here come the Tigers now in the 5th inning. It'll be Iglesias to lead things off. Clevenger goes to work, and a ball inside. Iggy with a bounce out. That was in the 2nd. He'll be followed by Kinsler and then Presley. Good count. Iglesias skipping out of the way, 2-0.
In all 3 games in this particular series, all 3 of their starters have really gone inside aggressively to a lot of these Tigers batters, especially Miguel. First 2 pitches of this sequence inside to Iglesias. They really try to command the inside part of the plate, which allows them to go back outside with good breaking balls.
And a 4-pitch walk for Iglesias to get things started here. Tigers get the leadoff man on. Kinsler coming up now.
Second baseman Ian Kinsler.
Second walk of the game issued by Clevenger.
Daniel Norris now warming up in the Tigers bullpen. Brad said the other day that it's not out of the realm of possibility that Norris at some point down the stretch might get a start for the Tigers. He is working out of the bullpen right now. Been another injury-filled season for Daniel. Kinsler sends a ground ball to short. Lindor, Ramirez, and a double play. sharply hit it right at him. 6-4-3, 2 gone.
If Daniel does get another start, I don't know how far he'd be able to go, because obviously Daniel has not been stretched out lately. He made some starts down on a rehab assignment when he was injured, but since coming back and being on the current roster, he's pitched out of the bullpen. So I don't know how far he'd be able to go if he did get a start.
Here is Presley now with 2 outs.
He obviously could stretch him out very far here today if, in fact, he's going to come in relief of Buck Farmer.
Strike 1 to Presley. 2 singles and a run scored. Came around on the double by Candelario in the first inning. The 0-1. 0-2 on Presley. That one caught the inside part of the plate. You can tell by the body language of Alex he didn't agree.
Yeah, there's that curveball. They've got a staff full of guys that are throwing curveballs these days. Less than 50% fastballs from a staff full of guys that have mid-90s heaters. There's Mickey Callaway. He's a pitching coach. He's been here with Terry Francona since day 1. Terry Francona said he did not know Mickey Callaway when he interviewed him for the pitching coach job, but he was very impressed with him. And obviously, Mickey Callaway's done nice work for Tito last 4 years.
Mickey Callaway was one of the instructors at the time that was in the ear of Corey Kluber to start throwing more 2-seamers as opposed to the 4-seam fastball, which got the ball rolling on that. And he got a big turnaround from Kluber in his career. Pulled to first, and it's scooped up there by Santana. And that'll be it for the Tigers. No runs to want. Nobody left. 4-1 try.
A couple of questionable pitches that looked like strikes to Jay Bruce, and Bruce was given a walk, and James McCann turned around talking to the home plate umpire Quinn Walcott. He was kicked out of the game. Brad Ausmus also came out and was talking to Quinn. He was kicked out of the game. Those pitches to Jay Bruce on the outside part of the plate both look like strikes, and that's the first time I've seen McCann visibly turn around in the couple of years he's been here and talk about his displeasure of the strike zone.
Well, it's going to be a wall side windows pitching change now. Daniel Norris will come in. And he's got Chisenhall to get things rolling here for the Indians. A strike call. Chisenhall, Ramirez, and Encarnacion 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup for the Tribe. Drilled to center field on a line. Jacoby makes a catch. sprawling to his knees out in center field.
It's a great jump in center field by Jacoby, and really on a line drive like that, you cannot hesitate for one moment. He got a good jump, good break, came in and made a real nice grab. If you're just joining us, Jacoby also made a real nice play on a ball that was hitting the right center field gap, nearly throwing out Jose Ramirez, who was stretching that single into a double. Speaking of Ramirez.
Yeah, here he is. Walk and a double and 2 runs scored. Norris hopefully will be more efficient than Buck Farmer was here today. Farmer, in 12 of the 19 hitters he faced, they went at least a 5-pitch at bat, so that ran his pitch count up. But Buck really, aside from that home run to Bruce in the first inning, not all that bad, just the pitch count not good. Popped up, shallow right field, and Robine runs it down.
If in fact Brad is considering giving Daniel Norris another start this season, this might be an opportunity to stretch him out the remainder of the day.
Yeah, that would be the plan. You know, and Miles J, I think, is still scheduled to make his next start, but Brad also said with the caveat that they're still talking about what they want to do, and now the sprinklers have come on.
How about that?
Maybe the sprinklers can stop this winning streak. Somebody forgot to tell the grounds crew here we've got a 12 o'clock game today, apparently.
Timer went off.
Presley's not even moving. How about that? So, a little afternoon watering of the flowers here in Cleveland as the sprinklers just popped on in left field. By the way, Tigers fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device. With Fox Sports Go, download the app and take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go. All right, after the quick watering, we're back to action now. Encarnacion, the batter. Strike one. Norris, of course, was bothered by that sore groin, which put him on the disabled list. Short-circuited his season this year. Daniel was activated off the DL prior to the doubleheader in the beginning of September against the Indians. Made 4 rehab starts. Numbers were not good, but I think they were just more concerned with how he felt and looked. Yanked foul. Encarnacion had a bloop single in the third. He is 1 for 2. Popped him up. Left side of the infield for Iglesias, and a 10-pitch inning for Daniel Norris. Nicely done here in the 5th.
week from Brad Ausmus. He said that Victor Martinez did undergo successful cardiac ablation surgery. Now remember, Victor Martinez missed some time earlier this year with an irregular heartbeat. Essentially what the ablation procedure does is eliminates some soft tissue around the heart, which causes the arrhythmia or the irregular heartbeat. Victor Martinez now resting comfortably at home, and as Brad had said, not just this week but before, he doesn't believe that this would be in any way limit Victor from wanting to get back onto the baseball field at some point in time, guys.
Well, Terry Francona can certainly commiserate with Victor Martinez. He had the same surgery earlier this year. Reporting that Victor resting well, and that's good news. And of course, Terry was able to come back from it.
Our thoughts and prayers are with Victor Martinez and his family that he gets healthy. Yeah, Terry Francona, man, for about a month straight there, I mean, he was going to see a bunch of doctors, and they just couldn't figure out exactly what was causing him the discomfort and why he was not feeling well. And apparently, they finally found out exactly what it was.
You know, it's not like he has a stressful job or anything, right?
No, it's not stressful at all.
Wow. Big league managers on a day in and day out basis. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Roll toward third base. Routine there for Diaz. Oh, he threw it away. Perhaps not so routine. And Cabrera will go to second. We'll see how big that turns out to be.
That's the first error that the Tribe have made in the series. Diaz just had way too much time here. He pumped it. He read Rob Manfred's name, the commissioner, and then he airmailed the first baseman.
Counted the stitches. So the Tigers now have a leadoff man at second, an error by the third baseman Diaz. And Clevenger now has to deal with Castellanos. Nick, a single and a walk. Ball one to Castellanos. Both teams 4 hits. That is the first error for either side today. Drilled toward left field. That ball is hit well, and it's going to be over the head of Chisenhall. A run will score, and Nick goes to second. He is safe at second base. Castellanos, an RBI double.
Castellanos with 2 hits yesterday, 2 more hits today, and a hustling double this time for Nicholas Castellanos. And as soon as he hit this ball, it was a 2-seam fastball, about 88 miles an hour inside. He turns on it. Nice play by Chisenhall, and that right foot able to get in there just ahead of the tag at second base.
So the Diaz error turned out to be big in this inning, and now Mickey Callaway coming out.
Yeah, second base umpire. Yeah, Paul Lemel was all over that.
So a 2-hit day for Castellanos, 10-game hitting streak for Nicholas. And it's a 4-2 ball game. Clevenger now will get Candelario, who's got a double and a strikeout in the game, plus an RBI. Tigers have their 5th hit of the game. Strike one to Jamer.
Thought that was an 88-mile-per-hour 2-seamer that he threw to Castellanos, but actually it was a changeup, and this is why a lot of right-handers don't like throwing the changeup to the right-handed batters. If you leave it up, usually the end result is the ball hit extremely hard somewhere.
Slice to the shortstop, Lindor. Wow, what a play. One gone.
Lindor has been making plays all series long. He won a platinum glove last year, which went to the best defender in all of baseball.
Catcher John Hicks.
That'll bring up Hicks. Swing and a miss, 0-1.
It's a 77-mile-per-hour curveball there.
Did not go. Oh, he went around. Oh, Norris said he went. Action in their bullpen. Nick Goody, Brian Shaw.
And Francona really has not had to use the back end of his bullpen at all in the series.
Ball high.
Lopsided win on Monday, and then Kluber and pitched a complete game yesterday. Terry said it's been difficult getting his relievers work during the game. 20-game win streak.
Ground ball to first. Smothered there by Santana. Pitcher covers for the out. And Nick goes to third. Two gone.
As a first baseman, you know if you do not make the play cleanly, you just have to knock it down. You know your pitcher will be there, and Clevenger was there.
When Walcott having a discussion with the Cleveland bench. Here is Romine. Strikeout and a pop-up. Clevenger will throw from the windup with a runner at third. Swing and a miss, 0-1.
A lot of first pitch breaking balls thrown by Cleveland Indians. They got a staff full of guys with mid-90s fastballs, but they really have a lot of confidence in their curveball.
Clevenger continues to get strike one. He's done that all day.
%16 of his pitches today have been curveballs. He's thrown more fastballs today than Carrasco and Kluber did in their outings the first 2 days of the series.
Threw another one there, falls behind, 2-1. On the outer edge.
A lot of generous calls here for the Tribe.
Clevenger got the benefit of that one from Walcott. 2-2. Swinging a foul. Just got a piece of it. Clevenger tried to get him up top with a fastball. 4-2 ball game. We are in the 6th inning. Tigers down by 2. They've got a runner at third, 2 outs. Trying to break Cleveland's 20-game winning streak. High ball 3.
Wouldn't shock me if Clevenger came back with something off speed here. He's been able to command that pitch, and for the most part all day long.
Line drive, right field. That'll drop. Base hit. RBI single for Romine with 2 outs, and it's a 1-run ball game.
It's going to be it for Clevenger.
He will not survive the 6th inning. Terry Francona coming out to make a pitching change. It'll be a wall side windows pitching change. Tigers back to within 1 now. 4-3 ball game. brought to you by Bell Tire. For tires and auto service, everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. And by Chevy, the only brand to earn J.D. Power Dependability Awards for cars, trucks, and SUVs 2 years in a row. Back here in Cleveland, where the Tigers are back in this game now. It's a 4-3 ball game. The Tribe going to the bullpen, and they've got Nick Goody coming out of the pen.
Yeah, they acquired Goody from the New York Yankees in December. He started the season in AAA, was only there for a handful of outings before coming to the major leagues, and you can see by the numbers he's posted, he's been here all season. 49 games, a 2.72 ERA for Goody in a very deep bullpen that the Cleveland Indians have.
5 2/3 for Clevenger, just one earned run though. The error by Diaz opening the door for the Tigers here in the 5th inning, or 6th rather. And now Jacoby Jones will stand in. Jacoby a strikeout and a ground out. Romine this year 5 steals. He's been caught 4 times.
And Goody has a fastball that will top out at about 94. He loves his slider. He throws that 48% of the time.
You've got Shaw still out there. Olsen has joined him. One. RBIs here in the 6th for Castellanos and Romine. Andrews RBI coming with 2 outs. Jacoby chasing. 1 and 2.
And once Jacoby learns the strike zone and has more plate discipline, his numbers will increase. He'll be able to put the ball in play a little bit more consistently. And once he makes the pitchers throw him strikes.
Runner going, and a swing and a miss, struck him out. That'll be it for the Tigers, but they get 2 back. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. Three is our score. September 23rd, Tigers take on the Twins at 6:10, and the first 10,000 fans get a free Tigers Hawaiian shirt. If you'd like tickets, go to tigers.com. The phone number 866-66-TIGER. Daniel Norris came on in the 5th inning. He is out there for the 6th. Daniel had a 1-2-3 fifth. Jay Bruce will lead things off for the Tribe. Down to a 1-run lead for Cleveland. A swing and a miss, 0-1.
It's a pretty good fastball there by Daniel Norris on the outside part of the plate. And Daniel stands on the third base side of the rubber, trying to get that fastball away from the lefties, inside on the right-handed batters.
Bruce has a 3-run homer in this game. It came off Buck Farmer in the 1st.
And Daniel has all 4 pitches. And you can see where Daniel is standing on that rubber, about as far as you can go on the third base side.
Two and one on Jay Bruce. Santana, then Yandy Diaz. Missed it outside. Now he's gone to 3-1. Buck Farmer went a total of 4 in this game. Norris in the 5th. Went around, strike called, 3-2. Playing to pull on Bruce. Candelario in short right field. A little looper into left field, and Presley will come on to make the play. 1 away.
Yeah, listen, guys, I had a chance to talk with Jay Bruce earlier this week, and, you know, we talked a lot about the Hurricane Irma coverage and certainly Hurricane Harvey, which ravaged a lot of southeast Texas. Jay Bruce from Beaumont, Texas, yesterday was honored before the game. He put $100,000 out of his own pocket, but he, along with charitable donations from the Indians, the Mets, the Reds, obviously, and many other organizations, pledged $350,000 in the relief effort. So Jay Bruce obviously giving back to his hometown of Beaumont, Texas, a beautiful thing to see.
All right, Johnny, thanks. A lot of athletes have really kind of taken upon themselves to get some of these collections going and sending some money down to the areas affected by Hurricane Harvey in Texas.
Yeah, J.J. Watts, he was able to raise quite a bit of money himself. A lot of the Houston Astros as well, and the Houston Rockets, a lot of the athletes giving of their time and their money.
1-2 on Santana. Walk and a strikeout. Pulled to third. It's a foul ball. Just as we had gotten over the hurricane in Texas, Hurricane Harvey, Irma shows up in Florida. So there are a lot of folks in need right now. Here's the 1-2. Went around, strike 3 call. And out of there for out number 2. Let's check in now with Matt Shepard.
Now batting number 36, Yandy Diaz.
All right, Shep, here are the wild card standings. The Angels 2 out, 3 back are KC and Texas. Now those teams are still bunched up, Rod, but as we look at the schedule, we're running out of games now. We've got about 18 or so left.
And some of those teams are only 3 games back. It looks like they can get back in this thing, but you got to leapfrog about 5 different teams. But all you could do is just keep playing. I love the second wild card and what it's added to a lot of cities.
The 0-2. Wasn't sure I was crazy about the wild card to begin with, and then when they added the second one, I thought, well, I don't know about that either. But boy, you're absolutely right. I mean, the races are going deep now into the month of September. A lot of excitement added.
A lot of teams wouldn't have gotten a shot and with some of the lopsided divisions, but they get that opportunity with the wild card.
Up and in, and it chased Diaz out of there.
Good fastball inside at 93. Four-seam fastball thrown by Norris. By him standing where he stands on the rubber allows him to get that fastball deep inside to some of the righties.
Swing and a miss. Diaz out of there in a 1-2-3 inning for Daniel Norris. Financial donations to be able to provide disaster relief immediately. Help people affected by Hurricanes Harvey and Irma by going to redcross.org or texting the word Red Cross to 90999 to make a $10 donation. Back here in Cleveland as we wrap up this series, a tight one here this afternoon. Tigers were down 4-1. It's now 4-3. And here is Iglesias to get it started for the Tigers as we go to the top of the 7th. Iggy looks at a strike. Ground out and a walk for the Tigers shortstop as Giovanni Urshela takes over now at third base. Diaz out of the game. Urshela is in. Here's the 0-1. High fly ball toward left field. That ball is hooking down the line and going to go foul. There is Urshela.
Yeah, Urshela also came into the contest last night really early as a defensive replacement for Yandy Diaz. Urshela has a great glove at third, but he hasn't been able to hit at this level yet.
The 0-2. Hopped up. Third base side, Urshela is there to make the play. One gone. So Goody has retired the two batters he has faced. Here is the top of the lineup now, Kinsler. Ian knocked into a 6-4-3 double play in his last at bat. He's 0 for 3 in the game. Clevenger started the game, was bitten by an error in the 6th inning. A leadoff error by Diaz. Tigers took advantage, eventually scored 2. And Kins looks at a ball high. Rolled foul, 1 ball and 1 strike. Tyler Olson still warming up, the lefty. Brian Shaw, the righty. Tigers are going back home to face the Chicago White Sox at Comerica in a 4-game series. The Royals come into Cleveland. Question is, will they come into Cleveland with the Indians still rolling along? Don't forget, tomorrow's a day game against the Chicago White Sox. Kinsler did not like that last call at all. Goody ready with the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Ian is out of there. It's going to be it for Goody. He'll face 3 batters. And with Presley due up, looks like they'll be bringing in the lefty.
And Brad has quite a few right-handers on his bench, although Gene Lamont is the acting manager. Brad has been kicked out of the game. You wonder if Gene Lamont will counter with a pinch hitter.
Walt sign Windows pitching change. We'll find out when we get back. Seventh inning, 2 out, nobody on, and Tyler Olson coming out of the bullpen now for the Tribe.
Olson, not a hard thrower. His fastball probably tops out at about 91 miles an hour. He only throws that 39% of the time. He throws his curveball 40% of the time and his changeup 21% of the time. So he's a guy that you really have to stay back on, and you see his numbers against left-handed batters this year, and they're hitting a bucket some change against him. Hasn't given up a run, partner, in 20 games.
Well, maybe we can change that.
I mean, this bullpen just gets deeper and deeper.
Presley looks at a ball outside. Down in AAA this year, lefties were batting just 127 against him.
I'm sure that they will use him as a left-handed specialist. And once they get into October, it's a nice weapon to have because you can use this Olson kid early in the game, and of course you've got Andrew Miller that you can use at any point in time.
Yeah, your big hammer. 1 ball, 1 strike. Presley, 2 singles and 3 at-bats.
I know it's been a while since we've seen all the teams, but I cannot think of another team that's as complete as this Indians team in just about every phase of the game right now. And maybe it's because they've won 20 in a row, but they've got balance. They've got a lot.
Tiger box here in this game today. Castellanos and Presley each with 2 knocks. Slap foul. 1-2, count stays. Cabrera waiting on deck. The other thing about balance with this Cleveland team is their lineup with so many switch hitters that they have available.
They can beat you in a lot of different ways. They got some speed at the top, power in the middle. They play good defense. Take a look at the arm slot that Olsen throws from. If you're a left-handed batter, man, it looks like he's literally throwing this ball from behind you. This low three-quarter arm slot. Look at where that ball is. It's starting from behind Presley. You really have to force yourself to stay in there if you're a left-handed batter.
That was the first pitch inside to Presley. Everything else was down and away. Now he's gone full at 3-2 with Cabrera waiting on deck.
I don't know why more right-handers don't drop down to this sidearm angle to give them an advantage, especially guys that aren't hard throwers.
Nubbed foul off the end of the bat.
We've seen a few guys throw from this sidearm angle, but not many right-handers. As a matter of fact, they have one in their bullpen, Joe Smith. They reacquired him from the Toronto Blue Jays. Smith spent about 4 years in a Tribe uniform. Now he's back. He's the right-handed version of Olsen.
Popped up. Right at home plate, Perez discards the mask, and that is that. Olsen comes on, gets the out. 1, 2, 3 go the Tigers. We go to the stretch.
Of the game, Daniel Norris has pitched 2 scoreless innings. That ball was hit hard off the bat of Bruce. Nice play by Jacoby Jones. The other couple of pop-ups, not a lot of soft contact, and a couple of strikeouts as well for Daniel Norris, who's looked awfully good out there in the 2 frames he's pitched.
And Brandon Geyer will pinch hit here for Tyler Naquin. We're in the bottom of the 7th.
And Geyer, for the most part, only plays against left-handers.
He'll be followed by Perez and then Lindor.
And Geyer last season had a .464 on base percentage against lefties. That was the best in the American League.
Indians have 4 runs on 4 hits. The Tigers 3 runs on 6 hits.
Yeah, you talked about the fact that this was a very close game. Last night's game was close as well. But the previous 19 during the winning streak for the Tribe, they were outscoring the opposition by at least 5 runs.
They've not been used to playing too many of these.
Their run differential plus run differential is over 100 during the 20-game streak.
Grounder up the middle. Kinsler gets to it quickly and throws him out. 1 away. Geyer is gone.
Ian had him played perfectly. And he knows that more than likely Geyer's going to go up the middle with 2 strikes here, and he just kind of moves right before the pitch, gets over there, backhands it, throws underneath and accurately over to Andrew Romine. Meanwhile, if Daniel continues to pitch as he has pitched here today against this Tribe team, no doubt he'll get another start. Don't you think that they want Daniel to succeed and to be one of the starters in the rotation next year?
Yeah, I think they're counting on it, actually. And we have seen glimpses of what he can do.
No doubt. There's no reason to believe that he can't do it. It's all about consistency, and really for Daniel, it's all about health, staying healthy.
Oh, and 2 on Perez. Driven to center field. Ball is hit well. Jones back, looks up. It's gone. The number 9 hitter, Roberto Perez, has homered.
From a power standpoint, they don't miss a whole lot when Yan Gomes is not catching. That is a fastball that is 95 miles an hour that is right down the plate, and Perez with that little mini leg kick, he timed it perfectly and hit it out to the deepest part of this ballpark.
Perez homered in the just completed series against the Orioles, and now he's gotten the Tigers here with a big 7th inning home run to make it 5-3.
That was an 0-2 pitch that was not a good pitch by Daniel Norris. It's almost like he was just trying to blow the youngster away.
And Lindor hits it right back up the middle into center field for a base hit. His 2nd hit. They'll bring Hicks out to the mound. Bring up Chisenhall to the plate. All of a sudden now the Indians have 6 hits. That is the first Cleveland run since getting one in the 3rd. Swing and a miss. Norris had retired 7 straight coming out of the bullpen prior to the Perez home run. There goes Lindor. Grounded foul.
The opposing teams have attempted to steal more bases while Daniel has been on the mound than any other Tiger. 17 attempted steals, and by the opposition, they've been caught 7 times.
Which is kind of odd because he's left-handed.
Exactly, which means that in the offseason, that's something that he's really going to have to work on, slowing down guys trying to steal bags against him.
Strike call. Chisenhall is out of there. 2 away.
Yeah, you might want to throw over to first base one time. You know that Lindor will be trying to get into scoring position, and he might just try to take off on the very first pitch. That is a well-located 94 fastball by Daniel.
10 strikeouts now for Tigers pitching today. Here's Ramirez.
There you go. Might want to throw over twice.
Big lead for Lindor. Ground ball left side in the hole. Iglesias will go to second for the force. That'll end the inning. Big home run though for Cleveland. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. Detroit and the community since 1849. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives to Motor City. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Back here in Cleveland, where the Indians are trying to win their 21st consecutive ball game. They've added another run, and they lead 5-3 now. It's a Wallside Windows pitching change. Brian Shaw will come on.
And today is the 70th appearance for Brian Shaw, and he is now the only pitcher in the majors to pitch at least 70 games in 5 consecutive seasons. The last 5 seasons, Shaw has pitched 70 games or more. Talk about rubber arm.
Meanwhile, Greg Allen will take over in center field.
And Shaw, for the most part, will throw you a cutter and a slider. Pretty much just 2 pitches. And he's got a good cutter.
Shaw goes to work and is fouled back by Miguel Cabrera.
And coming into this season, Shaw, along with Mark Melancon of the Giants, in the last 4 years, both guys had pitched at least 70 games, but Melancon not there this year, but Shaw is. That's remarkable.
You put it best, rubber arm. And he just goes out, takes the ball. It was in the 2014 season that he threw 80 games. A mainstay at the back end of the bullpen. Native of Livermore, California, living in Arizona now.
And during the postseason last year,
Mickey drives one to right field, base hit.
everybody talked about Allen and Miller at the back end of that bullpen, but Shaw did a lot of the heavy lifting, which allowed the Cleveland Indians to nearly capture a World Series. It's a good swing there by Miguel. Shaw just simply tried to blow Miggy away with the 0-2 pitch.
Great fielder, Nicholas Chance.
Here you go. Since 2013, Shaw and Allen have been the featured relievers at the back end of the bullpen. They've had more appearances than anybody in the American League.
I guess Terry Francona really likes to use his bullpen.
Swing and a miss. Tigers have seen Shaw a lot. Obviously, they have played the Cleveland Indians 19 times a year, so they are well familiar with what he is able to do. And through the years, they've gotten to Shaw a little bit. Nicholas, a double, single, and a walk, plus an RBI. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
Shaw throwing harder here today than I remember him throwing. I don't remember him throwing 95-mile-per-hour fastballs.
He is 0-4 career against the Tigers with an ERA of 4.67.
Tigers hitters also hitting 300 against Brian.
Pasty chasing with a half swing and one gone. That is 9 strikeouts for Cleveland pitching.
Shaw has thrown 6 pitches, and all 6 of the pitches he's thrown have been strikes. That last pitch was 97 to Castellanos.
Candelario has a double and an RBI. Fouls it off 0-1. Jamer drove one in back in the first. Tigers took a 1-0 lead, but quickly fell behind with the Jay Bruce home run, a 3-run shot in the first. Swing and a miss.
Everything pretty much 95 and above as far as the fastballs are concerned that Shaw has been featuring in this inning. 0-2 on every hitter.
Crowd coming alive now in the 0-2 pitch. Little chopper back up the middle. Shaw has it, drops it, and has no play. Everybody is safe. And the Tigers have something going now here in the 8th.
Looked like Shaw was going to make a play here, at least get one out at second base, but as he came down the mound on the backside, he tumbled, and then when he tried to gather himself, he simply tripped over his own feet, not able to get up and make a play.
E1.
Pitcher number 55, John Hicks.
It's the second error of the game for the Tribe defense.
The other error belonged to Diaz. That opened up the 6th, and the Tigers were able to score 2 runs. Now here is John Hicks, a long ball away from giving the Tigers the lead. Ground ball towards short. They're going to go to second for 1. Great play there by Urshela, who cut it off before it got through. He was sprawling to the ground and got the force out. And he's getting a standing O for that play.
Urshela was just entered the game as a defensive replacement last half inning, stretches out. He can't get up, and he simply throws that ball off his left hip to get the force out at second base. Hips can't believe that ball didn't go through. This crowd is fired up today. It's almost like a postseason kind of crowd here this afternoon. It's packed too.
First and third now with 2 outs. Let's see if Romine can deliver with 2 outs again. He did so in the 6th. 0-1. That is the first ball that Shaw has thrown since coming on. Swing and a miss. Tied him up.
That cutter is wicked. At 96, to get that kind of action on a pitch is unbelievable. Look at this thing. That's 96 with the velo.
Chopper to third. Urshela with a backhanded play. In time. And Shaw pitches out of the jam. Tigers strand 2. Xbox One, PS4, iOS, and Android. Enjoy fast-paced pick-up-and-play MLB action. Packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and a whole lot more. Go to RBIGame.com to learn more. All right, Alex Wilson coming on now for the Tigers. We go to the bottom of the 8th.
Alex has been in quite a few games, pitching in his 62nd contest. 3.81 ERA.
Encarnacion will lead things off, and Bruce and Santana. RBI single for Encarnacion, a blue single. Ball one. 5 runs, 6 hits for Cleveland. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Tigers. Cleveland, though, has hit a couple of homers, Bruce and Perez. This Cleveland crowd fired up, man. They got the parrot going, hoping that Encarnacion can round the bases. Here's the 1-1. 29,346 in the ballpark, and that last half inning, man, they were on their feet.
Especially after that play that Urshela made. They're having a lot of fun here today. That much we do know.
Now the 2-1, swinging a foul. 2-2 on Encarnacion.
And Tigers with 3 more huge outs to see if they can prevent the Indians from making history in the American League. How do you go 3 straight weeks without losing a game in the big leagues?
I do not know. Grounded fair inside the bag at third. Candelario will throw him out. 1 gone. Here's the upcoming matchup presented by Wallside Windows, and you've got the Chicago White Sox coming to town.
You've got Shields, and you got a couple of youngsters in Fulmer and Lopez and Covey. You got Bell, Sanchez, Jay, and Matthew Boyd scheduled to start for the Tigers.
Here's Jay Bruce. Big 3-run homer early, which gave the Indians some momentum. Ball 1. If the Indians hold on and win this game, not only is it 21 consecutive victories, but it's their 90th win of the season with a couple of weeks to go. Ball 2.
And Terry Francona will continue to play his everyday players down the stretch. What they want to do is ultimately they want to capture the best record in the American League. Right now they're a game and a half in front of the Houston Astros.
Cleveland has not lost since August 23rd. If they win today, they would tie the 1935 Chicago Cubs 21-game winning streak. And it would be the longest American League streak. The longest Tigers winning streak in their history was 14 straight. That was back in the 30s. Ball inside, 3-1 now on Bruce. Again, the magic number for the Indians is 5. Swing and a miss. 3-2. Any combination of Indians wins or Twins losses totaling 5 will give them the Central Division crown.
Did you see Minnesota hit 7 homers yesterday?
I did. They won 16-0. Swing and a miss, and Bruce is out of there. 2 away. Here's our Comerica Bank game summary. Buck Farmer started, went 4, allowed 4 earned runs, 7 strikeouts in this game. Clevenger gave up just 1 earned run in 5 2/3, and Castellanos just keeps swinging. Cody Allen, their closer, tuning up. Here's Carlos Santana. Minnesota Twins have 75 wins. They're 75-69, holding that second wild card position right now.
Holding on for their dear lives.
For the life of me, I thought there was no way in the world beyond Santana they had enough pitching in their rotation to be in at this late.
I'm right there with you.
I think Gibson has pitched well. Barrios, the youngster, has pitched well.
They traded away their closer at
Right.
the trade deadline. The guy that made the All-Star team for them.
Oh boy, that ball hit deep in center field. Jacoby going back to the wall, looks up. It's going to roll away from him. Santana hits the bag at second. He's going to third. They're going to wave him home. Here he comes, and he's going to be out. Santana tagged out, trying for the inside the park home run.
He's going to need some oxygen now.
Let's go to the ninth.
Miller time, and it is brought to you by Miller Lite. Giovanni Urshela was just brought into the game as a defensive replacement an inning ago and made two dazzling plays to kill the Tigers' rally in the eighth. He robbed Hicks of a base hit, then he made a real nice play going to his left to end the inning. He's a good defender.
Meanwhile, Cody Allen is on now here as we go to the ninth inning, and Tyler Collins will pinch hit for Jacoby Jones.
'61st game this year for Cody Allen. He's won 2, he's lost 6. He's got a fastball that gets into the mid-90s, but it's that curveball that's a tremendous pitch for him, and he throws it about 44% of the time. Mid-90s fastball and a knee-buckling breaking ball.
Collins for Jones, and Tyler looks at a ball inside, 2-1. Cody Allen, dating back to last August, 35 of his last 39 save opportunities. Indians 3 outs away from their 21st consecutive win. Fouled out of play, and the count is 2-2.
Allen, since putting on a Tribe uniform, has punched out 471 batters out of their bullpen No other relief pitcher has struck out more than Cody Allen in their history. He's number 1.
Fouled off. Collins, Iglesias, Kinsler here in the 9th inning, down by 2. Inside, and the count now will go full at 3-2 on Tyler. Swing and a miss. He got him up top. And it might have been ball 4.
Let's take a look at our Bell Tire pitch by pitch. That's another strikeout for Cody Allen, so he continues to increase that record strikeout for a pitcher out of the bullpen. Finally gets Collins up top with a 95-mile-per-hour fastball.
Swing and a miss, 0-1 on Iglesias.
Ooh, that's nasty. Surprised this crowd's not on their feet.
The 0-1 pitch. And
2 very uncomfortable looking swings by Jose.
he has a walk in this game, otherwise 0 for 2. Now here comes the crowd of better than 29,000. Allen with the 0-2. He went up top, and Iglesias got a piece of it. Indians pitching today with 10 strikeouts. Here's the 1-2. Fly ball in the air toward left field. And there are 2 gone. And the Tigers are down to their final out. The Indians 1 out away from 21 consecutive wins. Here's Ian Kinsler now with 2 away. Kinsler is 0 for 4. And he line drive to left field. Chisenhall makes a sliding catch in left field. And the Indians have won an American League record 21 straight games. They have swept the Tigers in the series and have won 21 in a row. Final score 5-3 today. Now we go to the Call Sam Studios. Matt Shepard with Tigers Live postgame.